Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out my latest video. And today I have my Smash That Small Paper Pad 2020 collab items to share with you. And again, I decided for my first paper pad to work with for this month of January was going to be the Felicity collection from Bo Bunny. It's a really pretty paper collection. And it has a lot of like teal or soft mint green, pink. There's some browns and a couple greens in here. The first items that I created were two 6x6 cards. I did start off with a cardstock base and then did some layering with some of the paper from the paper collection along with the cardstock. And I'll hold this one up first. This one just says hello. And there's some different layering there with some die cuts, and then I added some of these bling pieces to it and also stamped the word hello. And on the inside I did stamp the words be your own kind of beautiful, and again I layered one more piece of that paper collection. And then for those of you who are interested in exactly what supplies I used, I will go over the supplies at the very end of the video. I will show them to you if you are interested. And then here was the second card that I created, and this one just says thinking of you, dear friend. And again, I have some of these little bling pieces and then also some flat back pearls on there and some different die cuts. And then on the inside of this one I used the stamp that says thank you for making me feel special, and again I used another piece of that paper collection in the background. And then again, of course, some of the pieces here also have that paper on it. The next item that I decided to create were some 3x3 cards. I love creating 3x3 cards and adding them to Happy Mail when I send out little things so I can include a little note in with them. And so I did create 12 cards. They are all very similar. The only thing that's different is the color of butterflies on them. This one has the little mint green and this one has the pink on it. And these ones I did kind of have a vintage feel to them. I did ink my edges. They all say the exact same thing. It does say, I thought of you today. And I did start off with a craft colored cardstock base and then layered up some of the paper from that paper collection. You can see I have the brown and then the flower, and then I also used that same paper collection to make part of the butterfly. The top layer is the cards, is the paper collection, and then underneath I just used some scrap cardstock to layer underneath because it is a two layered butterfly, and use some flat back pearls in the middle. And then on the inside I just use some scrap cardstock that I have. I use a lot of cream colored cardstocks in some of my craft making, so I do have lots of scraps. So I did use those for the inside. And I did decide to leave them all blank, so then that way when I send them out, if it's a thank you card, I can stamp a thank you in it. If it's just a thinking of you, I could stamp thinking of you or just handwrite a note. So I did leave all my insides blank. And again, there's the one with the blue, with the mint green, and there is the one with the pink butterfly. So I made 12 of those cards. The last items that I created for this collab were a couple of Memory Dex cards. I do like to have a few Memory Dex cards on hand. Every once in a while I like to send them out in Happy Mail, or if someone has a challenge, it's fun to include a little Memory Dex card. I usually include my information on the back side of them. So I did create 2 of them. And so here is the first one. And for this one, the only part of the paper collection that I really used was just the base right here that I cut out one of the layers, and it is on cardstock. And then I also used chipboard. I haven't put backs on them yet because again I just cut them out with some lined index paper and then write all my information on the back. So I still have to do that when I send it out. But I do like to make mine sturdy, so I do make mine on chipboard. And then here was the second one that I created. And for this one, the background paper here, again, this pink paper is part of the collection. And then also when I cut out the word life is good, that one also is part of the collection. And I did go over that with glossy accents. And I added some flowers in the corner. I do have the cute little boot here also, and some flat back pearls. There's flat back pearls on this one. And the little boot, and then this word beautiful life. They are part of the collection, but they did come from the little different pieces that, like the noteworthy collection from Bo Bunny that matches this paper collection that I had in my stash. I have bits and pieces of those, so I did use some of that. That's where the boot and that little sentiment came from for those. So for anyone that is interested in the supplies that I use to create these cards, these two cards right here, I did use these two sets from Spellbinders. They're both part of the Amazing Paper Grace collection. They're both part of the Vintage Elegance series. One is called Curled Grace Oval, and the other one is Braided Grace Square. And so I did use elements from both of those on these. The different stamps that I used on my projects today, inside of one of those cards I had Be Your Own Kind of Beautiful, and this was from My Sentiments Exactly. That came from Hobby Lobby. I also used the Thinking of You rubber stamp, and this was from a 2005 Stampin' Up! Collection. On one of them I did use the word Dear Friend, and I did cut off this bottom part right here, so all you saw was the Dear Friend. And this is a Studio G. This is one that I got out of the dollar bin a long time ago at Michael's. I also used this stamp. It's Thank You for Making Me Feel Special. And this one's from an old stamp company that is now retired, but it came out in 1995 from PSX, Personal Stamp Exchange. I also used this word hello on one of those cards, and this is a Stamps by Judith, and the number was B12. Again, this is an older stamp company. On the little 3x3 cards, I used this stamp. It says I thought of you today, and this is from Wordsworth Stamp Company. They have a lot of really nice sentiments or verses from that company. I also used on those little 3x3 cards, which were these ones. I used the butterfly is this one from Martha Stewart, and it's one of these types of punches where I can punch anywhere on the page. And then for the little oval, I used this Marvy punch, oval punch. Then the last couple of items that I used, for the memory decks, I did use these dies. I'm sorry, I don't know what company this one is from, but these are the dies that I used. I also used this Life is Good. And again, I don't know the company of this one, but I did receive this die from Lisa Goss here on YouTube. I think she's Happy Crafter. And on one of the bigger cards, I did also use this Spellbinders die, but I'm not sure which collection that one came from. I do have a lot of dies that I have sitting on magnet sheets close to my cutting station that I use all the time, and this is a die that I use all the time, but it is from one of the Spellbinders sets. If you really want to know which one this one is from, leave me a comment below and I can look it up. But I think that and then of course the paper collection, which I showed you at the beginning, the Felicity collection from Bo Bunny is the paper collection. So I think that is everything I use on my cards. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Of course, I love to hear your comments and I love your thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the other ladies who are part of the collab. Again, I have all of their links listed below. Hopefully you guys all have a wonderful day. Happy crafting, and I hope to see you back next month. And I'm hoping to finish this paper pad next month. So I will have quite a few more projects to share with you next month.